morning. This is the September 11th meeting of the Barnstable Licensing Authority. My name is David Nunheimer, and I'm acting chairman of this authority. With me to my right are Larry Decker, Nancy Carlson-Lidman, and John Flores. We also have Erin Logan, our interim deputy director of asset management and licensing. We're going to go first with respect to a motion for the minutes of May 15th and June 12th. I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of May 15th.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Want to do June 12th too?
With regard to the minutes of June 12th, I make a motion to accept.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
I'm just going to have everyone use extra loud voices today.
Because we exist in a wind tunnel. Good time for the air conditioning to not work. Okay, the first matter is a special one-day beer and wine license. Application by the Hyannis Film Festival for a one-day beer and wine license at the Sturgis Charter School, hosting Hyannis Film Festival's Women of Comedy event, 529 Main Street, Hyannis, on October 13th from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Beer and wine will be poured by tips certified individuals.
It will probably be earlier, actually. It'll probably be more like 9 o'clock.
Okay. No partying crowd over there.
Well, the performers don't want anything served while they're performing, believe it or not.
So you do have tip certified.
Yes, I'm Bill Farrell, by the way. I'm the managing director of Hyannis Film Festival. I've been here before you guys. We had a tip certified person lined up, and he flaked out on us Friday morning. Stuff like that happens. But we found somebody. We scrambled and found somebody, and I sent in over the weekend her tip certification. It's Madison Medor, who works at the Gourmet Brunch.
So Aaron has that information.
Aaron has it, yeah. You have it in your file.
In full disclosure, I haven't been on the system yet this morning, but I absolutely will not
Have a
issue the
copy of it with
license.
you-
And
with you.
okay,
There's
until I
a
have it.
$30 admission charge.
Well, there are two different levels of admission. There's $50 pass for the weekend, and there's a $30 admission just for that night. So,
What's going on the weekend?
well, we're doing these two comedians, women comedians, on Friday night. Then we have women from the Cape, two comedian women, also writers, on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And then at 4 o'clock, we're showing this award-winning documentary about one of the comedians from Friday night.
So this indicates October 13th.
Right.
So
We're only serving that night. We're not serving beer and wine on Saturday.
okay. So just one day.
Yeah, no serving on Saturday. That's all daytime stuff. No daytime drinking.
Any other questions? Anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this? Seeing none, Mr. Decker.
Mr. Chairman, regarding an application that's been filed by the Hyannis Film Festival for a one-day beer and wine license, the Sturgis Charter Public School will be hosting the Hyannis Film Festival's Women of Comedy event at 529 Main Street, Hyannis, on October 13th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And beer and wine will be poured by a tip-certified individuals. I make a motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. I'm leaving you posters for the event.
Good.
Great.
Thank
Thank you.
We hope you'll come.
The next matter is an application by Champ Homes for a one-day beer and wine license and entertainment license for a comedy show to benefit Champ Homes. It'll be held at the Cape Cod Community College in West Barnstable on October 14th from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., including recorded music, live performing arts, stand-up comedy. Beer and wine will be poured by Joyce Weldon. Current tips certification is on file, and you are?
Adam Burnett, the Executive Director of Champ Homes.
Thank you, Adam. Tell us about your comedy event.
So this is our second annual comedy show.
Is that thing on?
our second annual comedy show. The first time that we're going to be doing it at Cape Cod Community College. All proceeds benefit Champ Homes and our program for transitional housing for the homeless. And it will be Saturday, the 14th of October.
And how much are the tickets?
$20 each.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, I take anyone from the public who wants to speak to this application. It's going to be a funny fall on Cape Cod.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to an application filed by Champ Homes, Inc. for a one-day beer and wine license and entertainment license for a comedy show event to benefit Champ Homes, the said event will be held at Cape Cod Community College, 2240 INO Road, West Barnstable, on October 14th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Entertainment to include recorded music and live performing arts, stand-up comedy. Beer and wine will be poured by Joyce Weldon, current tip certified, on file. I make a motion to accept.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None?
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much.
Next matter is application filed by Bagel Mike LLC, DBA Bagels and Beyond 2, 408 Main Street, Hyannis, for a new annual common victual license, operating hours from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're tabling that matter until October 16th. The next is an application filed by the Smith Family Beer Garden, LLC, DBA Smith Family Beer Garden, 541 Main Street, Hyannis, for an alteration of premises to increase the seating capacity as well as utilize in-season and off-season seating plans. The applicant also proposes to amend the closing time from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Welcome. And you are, again, I'm sorry.
Yep, Dan Smith, owner of Smith Family Beer Garden, with my brother Patrick Smith, who's the other owner.
So why don't you tell us first about the seating plan that you have?
Yep, so when we first opened, the health department had on file that our grease trap was only a 1,000-pound grease trap, which kept us at 66 seats overall. So kind of like the first phase of our project was all going to be outside. And then as DPW was inspecting our grease trap and we found the initial installation permit for the grease trap, it was found out that our grease trap's actually 1,500 pounds. So that puts us at 100 seats. And rather than kind of throw up my application and redo site plan review and come back to you guys right when we opened, I figured let's just kind of table this until the fall when we kind of have more time. We've had a summer under our belt with the 66 seats. So adding the 34 seats is really just getting us up to what our grease trap capacity should allow us to. And so I submitted 2 plans. In the summer, we would have the same 66 seats outside that we've been operating with, and then just add the 34 seats inside. And really the exercise is just to make us a little more year-round as the it hasn't really dropped yet, but like as the weather starts to drop, it's going to be tougher and tougher for us to have people only sit outside. And also, if we get a rainy night or a day at the beer garden, we're shot. Like business, we just have to close up because we have no indoor seating or anything. So it's really just to make us a little more year-round, a little more weather independent. Yeah, so then in the off-season, the other plan that I submitted, it would pretty much drop the seating outside. And I spoke with the health department about this, about dropping the seating outside and just adding more seats inside. So we would go to 70 inside versus 30 outside. Does that make sense?
So in other words, you want a seating capacity of 100 to be allocated any way you deem necessary based on the season or the weather.
That's right.
Okay.
May I?
Aaron, is this now an annual license?
No, this is a seasonal license, so it expires January 15th of 2024.
So how does this work? He's gonna have a on-season and off-season?
He will. Very similar to Columbo's. They have 2 floor plans on file that were approved where if the weather's nice, they can have more people outside. But they have to take away from their inside capacity because of the grease trap, so it's a very similar situation.
What's your typical attendance
Typical attendance it fluctuates a
in
lot.
the area? So it's 66 seats, but do you have standing room?
Yes, we have standing room. And we've actually found that a lot of people almost prefer standing tables as well, just with the atmosphere and the vibe of what we have going. We're not fine dining or anything like that. Our food's all from a food truck right now. So people are okay grabbing a bite to eat, grabbing a drink, and just kind of posting up at a stand-up table as well.
So it's 66 seats, but it's not 66 people.
Correct. Yep.
What's your occupancy?
Our occupancy on our file is 216. So that's with, as of right now, we have some stand-up tables inside. We have, 1,600 square feet of indoor space. I don't have any seats in that indoor space. It's just some standing tables. We have pool tables, and just kind of like where you grab a drink in the bar area. And then we have 5,500 square feet of our courtyard space.
When you came in front of us before, you did mention about the pool table, so you're going to keep that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and you also mentioned, in fact, you were quite insistent on it, on a food truck.
Yep.
So I'm under the impression that you are not serving food, is that correct?
No, we are. We are serving food.
In addition to the food truck?
All of our food comes out of our food truck. So we have a commercial kitchen in our back space that we built. That's our commissary for the food truck. So a lot of our food is prepped in our commissary in the back, and then served out of the food truck.
So you're going to be serving inside and outside?
Right. Yep.
Okay, I think we have 2 issues before us currently.
Yep.
One has to do with your time element of your entertainment.
Yep.
And the other has to do with your seating.
Okay.
Yeah. So
If-
anybody have any other, I'm sorry, Aaron?
I just want to clarify for the record, there is no application on the table for a change of hours on the entertainment.
Right.
On the entertainment?
Correct. There's no proposal to extend the entertainment hours.
No,
just
but
the
there is a
alcohol.
proposal to change the time.
Correct.
Change the time,
Just the
right.
closing hours for the alcohol
Yep.
license.
So if I can speak to the change of time too.
Well, let me just make sure everybody's
Sure.
all set with the seating issue. And anybody have any questions about that? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So for the change of time, it's just allowing us to go from, instead of just 11 o'clock to 12 to midnight. And the impetus of that is just, we'll find, do we want to do that every night? No, I don't want to be there that late every night. And it's just not necessary for us to do that every night. But we'll have some Fridays and Saturday nights that people will come in at 10:30, like after the Melody tent lets out, we'll get a group of people that'll come in expecting us to be open later, and we just have to tell them, hey, you can have this drink, but you got to leave in 15 minutes. So at the end of the day, if you guys are like, nope, you can't stay open until midnight, it's really not that big of a sweat off my back. It's trying to allow our customers to kind of, come in, finish their drink in a kind of a normal way. And because as of right now, the rules state that, we close at 11 and everyone has to be out of there by 11:30, employees included. So it's been hard for us to kind of have people come in, and just say, hey, we gotta, we're turning away business on Fridays and Saturday nights. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, no, it's not necessary at all for us to be open. And even right now.
I have no problem with you staying open another hour. I am concerned, as you well know, the complaints you got
Yep.
about the music
Yep.
for an extra hour. So we need to talk about that.
100%. So nothing is changing on our entertainment license. Our music stops at 10. It always stops at 10. so nothing changes.
So your
in that
music
regards.
is going to stop at 10, both inside and out.
100%. Yep.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Because that was an issue, particularly with the people who've complained
Yep.
that the music goes off at 10 o'clock regardless.
100%. Yep.
Thank you.
And just to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
There was also an issue raised with variation in levels of noise of the music. So say you have one performer who's performing or three performers, and they might be louder, or they may cause the crowd to be, loud and cheer along.
Sure.
And that all stops at 10?
Yep. All stops at 10. And the other thing is we're 3 months old right now. We're trying to get it right. We're trying to dial it in. We have live entertainment. As of right now, we schedule it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday, Friday, it's a couple people with acoustic guitar, kind of just like everything is amplified, and it's a lot easier to keep the duos down to a reasonable level and everything like that, and just making sure that we're at the right decibel level. And then Saturday nights, sometimes we have a 3-piece band that it might get louder, and we're always trying to be cognizant of that, and
Well,
we'll always tell them to turn it down and things like that.
okay, so being cognizant and having it actually happen are two different things? I mean, are you...
Yeah, I mean, we're always telling them to turn it down if we ever think it gets too loud. We've spoke to Officer Kelsey multiple times. He's been out, he's checked decibel levels, and we've been fine. We've had one report that he had to come and say, "Hey guys, it was a little loud tonight."
Is that something that you could proactively discuss with them prior to them taking the gig?
And we usually do.
Okay.
And we usually do. So it's hey, we have to be, quieter than most places that you play. So that's always something we're trying to be proactive about.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've heard the noise level, and I'm wondering if you've had any. I know you've had complaints from abutters.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't Colombo said anything? I mean,
No, we've actually talked to Dave Colombo early on, probably a month into us being open, and once we had some complaints from our abutters, we called him directly and said, "Hey, just making sure we're good with you, because we know he has outdoor seating, and we didn't want to step on his toes or anything like that." And he was actually really receptive towards it. He thinks it's an addition to the street.
okay.
Just a comment. I have no issue with the hours or the rearrangement of the seating, but I feel compelled.
Mic on? Yeah,
Yes.
a little louder.
It is, but I feel compelled to speak to the issue of the noise,
Of the noise?
of the
Yep.
noise level of the folks that are playing acoustical versus obviously electric. I think that's something that if there are abutters who are complaining, who have sent us letters relative to that,
Sure.
the fact that Officer Kelsey comes out with a decibel meter and decides, I'm not even sure what the maximum decibel level is, but is that something that you can monitor on a regular basis, buy a decibel meter and make sure that it's 10 degrees below where it should be, that way there? From a legal perspective and from a licensing perspective, you're always within boundaries.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
to me, I think, is fair and makes sense.
Yep,
As
hun-
opposed to, my hearing isn't as good as it once was. So when my grandkids come over, they'll always ask, why is the TV so loud?
Sure. Yep. Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's a great
So I
idea.
think
Yep, I think
You
that's
should invest in a decibel meter and do that.
You could,
yeah, for sure. I think that's something we're gonna work with Officer Kelsey about.
I think also, I know most bands probably want to crank it up, and it gives you, if you will, the factual opportunity to say, look, here it is, guys. You got to bring it down a little bit so that there's no conflict between you and the folks that you're hiring, even though you're paying them. That they want to
Yep,
probably.
I think
be
it's a
loud.
great idea.
Just-
Yep.
yeah, you
Can you let us know when that happens?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
You can blame it on Mr. Flores. I'll suggest this to you. I think you can download on your iPhone a free decibel meter.
Yep.
So,
There you go.
all right. Any further
Yeah,
questions?
I would. Have you had the opportunity to speak with the people who turned in the complaint?
Yeah, we've spoken multiple times. You know, I've read the same letter that was forwarded to you all as well. We've tried really hard. I think the letter is especially frustrating as well because I think it was really an attack on my character as well. You know, we're trying to make the best business for us in this town as we can, and I think we're doing a pretty damn good job at it. So I'm not going to apologize for, you know, there's parts of that letter that there were complaints about us, you know, having more beer options than what someone supposedly thought. We applied for an all-alcohol license, so I'm not sure how that got mixed up. There were complaints about us having a full menu of food. Again, I'm not going to apologize for offering more food. Our menu has actually stayed exactly pretty much the same than what we.
I don't think we're concerned about all the minor things. I don't say about all of the other things.
Yeah.
What we're concerned with is the noise.
Yep.
The thing that she did, the lady did stress in the letter that I read, was the fact that not only her and her husband, but there's a man next door that had to board up his windows, and also that there is a group of condos there that affect elderly people.
Sure.
So the noise we're concerned with. So I want to make sure that we have a meeting of the minds. I don't want to have you back in here and have you explain why this noise is. And we got a lot of other complaints.
Yep. Totally understand. Yeah. So
I appreciate you.
Yeah. The person who's sent the letter, we've been working with them. Again, trying to dial it in, trying to figure out what's right. We've been working with Officer Kelsey, trying to figure out what's right. As far as the elderly home, we have a lot of patrons that are from the elderly home as well, and they love it. The person who wrote the letter comes to our beer garden once a week, so it's hard to kind of figure it out, but we'll get there, and you know, this isn't rocket science. It's just figuring out the right level.
It's good as long as you're addressing the issue.
Yep.
And I suspect they don't drink beer, so it's okay.
I don't know.
Anybody else? Anybody from the public that wishes to speak to this application? We have one.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Mary Myrick, and I believe you got my letter last week. Dan has referenced it a few times. First of all, I want to say I was hoping that it didn't come across as though I was attacking his character. Dan and Pat have been nothing but wonderful, and I think they're great guys. So, with that being said, I'm going to just kind of take it from a neighbor perspective and go from there. So when the Smiths started their beer garden, what they were telling me and what it truly is really two different things. It's not just a place to stop in for a beer with some music playing in the background. They're actually advertising bands and encouraging people to come for the music. And most of the music is amplified. More often than not, beer gardens are a place where people go for a craft beer and just to hang out and have conversations. They're looking for a casual, laid-back atmosphere. Music typically is not the main focus of the establishment. Nightclubs focus on music. The music's loud. So to me, extending their hours to midnight is creating a nightclub environment and not a family-friendly beer garden. And if this past summer is an indication of the directions things will be going, then I think you'll all need to be aware of it, and the entire neighborhood needs to be aware of it as well. Because if you're talking about people leaving the Melody tent and coming over, they're looking for a nightclub experience. They're not looking for a laid-back beer garden environment. When they came before the board in May, they specifically told all of you that it would be mostly a guitar player with an acoustic guitar. I think they're very smart in how they present it to you. Acoustic guitar sounds lovely. But I think that they're getting approvals for just about everything and are stretching really their intent. It's not just a family-friendly beer garden. I should tell you that I work for the Hyannis Main Street Bid and that my job is to support the businesses and to help people, bring people to downtown. I think it's important to state that I love the whole concept of the beer garden and have been there on several occasions. I want it to succeed. But I think they need to be honest in their intent. Extending the seating and the hours is just really, to me, creating more noise. And the fact that the noise has been plainly audible on many occasions at a distance of 100 feet or less from a building is violating the noise ordinance. But I'm hoping that we can work together so I don't need to call the police every week. My husband and I hope we can work with the town and the Smiths so they can have a successful beer garden while making sure that the quality of life to the surrounding neighbors isn't impacted so much that we need to put insulation in our windows. Their location isn't ideal for amplified music. There's no soundproofing barriers. It's in the middle of the garden. And I think more seating and longer hours is really just going to create a nightclub vibe. And I know that I sent you a video last week. Were you all able to hear the video of the music being
It was an
played?
audio?
What's that?
It was an audio clip. I didn't see a video.
Well, yeah, I made it into an audio. Yeah, and you heard that. Because I do have it
did.
with me, and I can play it for you. You know what? I might as well just play it for you so you can truly understand the extent of the noise that's emanating to the neighborhood. So hold on one second. And you know, I'm not even sure that Dan and Pat know the noise that is emanating into the neighborhood. So, I mean, that could be the problem.
Could you describe, please, where you took this in relation to?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the first one will be from my kitchen. I'm sitting in my kitchen.
Okay.
You know, can I just make a question? Are you the house directly behind on the
Yes.
parking lot?
Yes. Can you hear it? That's from my kitchen. And this is one that I went out to the driveway and recorded. So, I mean, clearly we can hear it. And to have them do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, every week through the summer and maybe even through the fall, or maybe year-round, I think that what needs to be addressed is working on, there's no sound barriers. And they need to work on sound before they even consider opening later and increasing seating. So, thank you for your time.
Can I ask, it was stated here that music stops at 10. Is that your experience, that the music stops at 10?
Yes, they're very good about having the music stop at 10.
And
But I mean, 10, yeah.
Go ahead. If I understand you correctly, the music is the intruding issue for you.
It really is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
quick question. How often is it electrified versus acoustical?
Well, every week it's amplified, but
Every week.
yeah, I mean, I haven't, documented it, but I would say
On nights that it is acoustical, does that infringe on the quality of
it
your
does. I hear the guitar player but it doesn't. That's okay. I understand. I bought next to Main Street, and I'm going to hear some noise from some music. But it's really the amplified music that's the problem. So.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Didn't the Columbos have a band outside at one time playing?
Not in the last 4 years. I haven't.
They did before. They had like a three-piece little
Yeah, they had three. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
jazz
And
band.
I also should note that Dave Colombo typically he's at the Black Cat. He most of the time he doesn't. Colombo's is kind of run by a man. He has a manager over there, so I can understand him saying no. I think that's great, and even though he's not really even over there listening to the music, so just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you.
Excuse me. You say you work for the bid?
I do.
What is your role?
I do the social media and the photography. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over the police station, yep.
Thank you. Can I just,
Yeah,
Would-
can I?
well, let me just ask a
Okay.
question. If I'm looking at the plan you submitted, there's a platform along Pine Ave.
Right.
Is that where the music is situated?
Yep.
Right. And where are, when someone's there with amplified music, where are the speakers located?
That's it. They're located there, pointing out towards our building.
Okay.
And there's a tall hedge, probably a 8 to 9 foot hedge behind that gazebo, and then the food truck is about 10 feet tall as well, if not more.
So, okay.
And we can look into sound mitigation and things like that. Again, to me, what we're here for really isn't about our entertainment license or anything like that. I'm totally fine having the conversation with Ms. Myrick about it, and I think it obviously needs to be resolved. We're just trying to do what's best for everybody. I don't know how me having some more indoor space to make us a little more independent of the weather and available to be open, November, December, has to do with us being a nightclub. Again, our music stops at 10 p.m. every single night. Nothing is changing with that. I believe the complaint is about the amplification of the music, and I get that. The complaint isn't about our crowd cheering or anything like that all during the night, because it just doesn't happen. It's people kind of relaxing and on vacation normally, just enjoying a beer.
I think there is some implication or inference that the later night crowd coming from the Melody tent may be a different issue. But so I agree with you that we're conflagrating here the noise issue with issues that are on the agenda. I just don't want to see you come back.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So, to some degree, if there's a possibility to either relocate the stage or the amplification so it's projecting away from the back parking lot, that would probably go a long way, because you as an architect know if you amplify the music where you are now, it's going to bounce off that wall and go big. So perhaps if I know in the layout that makes it a little difficult, but that being said. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions on the two issues that were on the agenda today?
Just an observation. I mean, obviously, if you're closing at 10 o'clock every night, so there's no music subsequent to that, in terms of stopping the music, I should say.
Yeah, our music stops at 10 o'clock. Yep.
The Melody tent ends. Is it over now? I mean, that's a seasonal operation.
Yeah,
so people aren't showing
I believe
up.
they're done. Yeah.
Yep. It's done.
Yep.
So, getting back to my initial concern of amplification in terms of acoustic versus electric, I think that's really the crux of the issue that's at hand.
Totally agree. Yep, totally agree. And we can do a better job of, like I said, it's the issue is normally on a Saturday night. Almost every Saturday night we've had the Fred Clayton band. Sure, people know Fred Clayton
Fred
is.
well,
He's around Hyannis all the time, and he's a staple of the town. So we have him every Saturday night. He does blues, and there were times where it's like, hey Fred, you just got to get a little bit lower. Yeah, that's all. Like I said, we're 3 months into this. We're doing the best we can, and we're going to get better every night that we do it.
Okay. All right. So I think you have to be, you'll be sensitive to that, and I'm sure that Officer Kelsey will be monitoring the noise situation further. So I'll take a motion with respect to the two things that are on the agenda for today, with the seating capacity and amending the closing time.
Have you applied to the an informal site plan review?
We have that tomorrow.
You have that tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, with regard to the application filed by the Smith Family Beer Garden LLC, DBA Smith Family Beer Garden, 541 Main Street, Hyannis, for an alteration of the premises to increase the seating capacity as well as utilize the in-season and off-season seating plans, the applicant has proposed to amend the closing time from 11 to 12 p.m. daily. I make a motion to accept the seating plan as indicated in the application, in the amended application, and I make a motion to accept the rest as printed.
Does that include the closing time change?
Yes, from 11 to 12.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Good luck. Just with that caveat, please be attentive to her concerns and
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming in front of us.
yeah,
We
thank you
appreciate
for
it.
everybody for doing that.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Good luck. Correspondence.
All right. Having no other, well, I guess, does anybody from the public who's not here wish to say anything more? There are no other people. All right. I guess we're on to the stickier wicket of today. I'm not quite sure how to manage this issue, but obviously there is a concern that we have 2 official members and 2 associate members. We need a 3rd member. What's this?
Still have correspondence?
All right, I'm sorry about that. So the Hyannis Inn has notified us, 473 Main Street, that they are not using their annual in-holder all alcohol license approved by the ABCC on May 22nd of this year. It's the duty of the licensee to inform the authority of any closures. Mrs. Logan did request a letter and has received an email indicating that they would like a temporary closure to spring of 2024. There's a question as to whether we otherwise ask the attendee to come to the meeting of October 16 to understand the plans before we accept that notice. And I'm open to everyone's thoughts on that matter. My thought is I'm happy to accept it and just let them come back when they need to reapply.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know just from the position that I'm in being privy to site plan review meetings, that I know that there's some things going on with that property. So I understand why there's a delay, and certainly this isn't a license that's issued on a quota basis, so we're not holding someone up from
Right.
utilizing a license. That's all I have to say.
All right. So we'll see them in the spring when they want to bounce back. Thank you, Mr. Decker. Back to our sticky wicket. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past, members have been appointed by the town council as the appointing authority under the charter, as have associates. There is confusion at this time, I would say lightly, as to whether this board is able to elect a new member to fill out the membership requirements of 3, or whether that is a matter for the town council as the appointing authority. So for the moment, I would suggest that we table the issue to Ms. Logan's chagrin, so that the town council and the town council itself and the attorney for the town can properly let us know whether we are the people or whether the town council is the people to appoint a new member. And then we will get to the sticky part of the membership issue once that's occurred. Is that good?
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on that?
I'm sorry?
Do we need to vote on that?
So yeah, well, let's just vote on that. It would be my motion to table the issue of nominating a new member pending clarification of our authority to do so.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, we have the position to nominate a chair to preside over all the meetings of the board and shall be the official representative of the board in all proceedings before the town council and other officials of the town. Are there any nominations for the chair?
Well, I nominate David Nunheimer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I should have asked if there's any other nominations.
Opposed.
Okay. Then, given the first conflicting issue, do we want to address the vice chair at this point, or do you want to?
Yeah.
All right.
I make a motion to nominate John Flores as vice chair.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That wasn't very enthusiastic, John.
I wasn't expecting that. Aye.
All right. Then we have to nominate a clerk. And I guess the question is, can we nominate a clerk that's an associate member at this time?
No.
No. So pending, we will table that, or I will make a motion to table that till the clarification of the initial issue is resolved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any other licensing department updates or board concerns that we could hear about at this time?
I think the heat has fried my brain. And I just said that on public record. But
Okay.
renewals are coming up. I have a meeting, a training session with the ABCC this week to just talk about how we're handling renewals. From what I understand, it's the same process as years past. Nothing too crazy. They only take the alcohol renewals in the month of November. So all alcohol license holders need to apply and pay before the end of November. And again, that's only between the first and the last day of the month. So those will be coming out. The emails will go out at midnight on November 1st. Our common victulars, our auto, our lodging houses that all renew at the end of the year. I'm pushing for those a little earlier. So those will probably be going out October 1st in the hopes that we can get the bulk of it done before December. My goal this year is to not have that second December meeting. And not only for myself, it's a tough time of year to get someone in here 2 days after the holidays. So hoping that if we do everything early enough, we'll be wrapped up by December 1st is my goal.
We haven't had a lot of new licenses requested, but it seems to me they've been moving much quicker on the licenses. Has that been your experience?
I think so. Being on this OpenGov platform has opened so much for us. I mean, the Hyannis, the 473 Hyannis, the Hyannis Inn was brought to my attention because of the relationship that licensing and the health department have. They are actually the ones that alerted me that they're not using a license. So being on this platform is going to be great. Everything is moving on. So common victulars without alcohol, autos, lodging house, this will all be new for them for our licenses, but most of these organizations have been on the system pulling building permits or health permits. So there's some familiarity with the systems before going in. So I imagine there'll be some hiccups. I think the alcohol license holders, this is their second go around in this system. They did great last year. I'm anticipating it'll be a pretty well-oiled machine this year. I'm willing it to be.
Power of positive thinking.
So.
And anybody else? Is that it? That's good.
Nothing else that's standing out to me at this moment.
Our next meeting is on the 16th. If this fan situation isn't straightened out, I make a motion that we would postpone it.
Understood. I'm hoping that this will be resolved, and I should know.
You mean the membership issue?
Yeah.
No, the fan.
Oh.
Huh?
Or just to change the location.
Huh?
Hey,
Change the location.
I'm losing weight by the minute.
Yeah.
Just a comment.
It'll be October.
The meetings that you have with the ABCC for professional development, if you will, are those meetings that are open just to staff, or would they be open to? Are they Zoom meetings? I assume they're Zoom.
So they are Zoom meetings. The meeting that I'm having coming up is strictly for the process of what I'm collecting and what I send back to the ABCC and how I send that back to them.
Okay.
But they do have annual training for new staff, and I can certainly ask if that can go as far as adding new members or anyone who wants a refresher.
I'm not saying we have to go, but if there's
Sure.
a meeting that's on
Yeah.
a series of meetings that we can use to just really improve our own edification of all licensing related matters, I think
I'm happy.
making it optional. I mean,
Yeah.
Everyone, in the past, they'd had a spring meeting
Yeah.
that was more of a general educational meeting of developments and things like that.
right.
And we were able to go to that a couple of times. So hopefully they'll do that again. But it sounds like it's my understanding of speaking with people is that there's been a structural change there, and therefore everything is moving back and forth at a much more rapid speed. So I think there's been some significant improvements. I mean, it bears watching, but we'll see. Does anybody else have any other? Okay,
Motion.
so
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
all in favor? Aye. We'll see you on October 16th, and hopefully the authorities that be above us will figure it out.